Branches of government. The first three articles of the Constitution provide the basis of the organization of the government. Article 1 broadly defines the legislative powers of Congress. It splits the responsibility between a bicameral or two-house legislature. The House of Representatives is defined first as the body most directly responsible to the people. The Senate, its make-up based on equal representation, joins in a partnership with the House in passing laws. The rules of impeachment of government officials are also outlined in Article 1. It is interesting to note that there are subtle differences, which will be discussed later, between the two bodies. The public's view of Congress has continued to deteriorate since the 1970s. In a poll conducted in July 2000, 55% of the people questioned were critical of the Congress. Yet in the same poll, 60% of the people indicated that they would vote for their incumbent. Another related issue dealing with the organization of Congress is term limits. The Supreme Court in 1995, in the case of Thornton v. Arkansas, ruled that state-imposed term limits were unconstitutional, indicating that the only way constitutional terms could be altered was through an amendment. Article 2 determines the nature of the chief executive, giving responsibility to a president and vice president. Even though powers are not as specifically defined as the legislative branch, the president's major responsibility is to administer and execute the public policies of the United States. The inherent power of the president, which includes those powers that the president exercises that grow out of the existence of the national government, expands the power of the presidency. By signing congressional legislation into law, the president assumes the responsibility of enforcing the laws of the land. Reference is also made to the president's authority in the area of foreign policy. This article also outlines the mechanics of the Electoral College and determines its procedures in the case where a candidate does not receive a majority of the electoral votes. The article refers to the executive departments, though it does not specifically mention the president's cabinet or the federal bureaucracy. Article 3 outlines the nature of the judicial branch. It is interesting to note that, unlike the first two articles, this article is the most vague regarding the qualifications of its members. It refers to one Supreme Court and the manner in which cases get there, but it does not give the Supreme Court the broad authority it has assumed. This authority of judicial review was given to the court in the landmark case of Marbury v. Madison. The scope of the court's system is set out in Article 3, and the jurisdiction of the court system is defined. This article also defines treason and provides for a range of penalties, including death, if a person is convicted of the crime. The only time that has happened was when Ethel and Julius Rosenberg were convicted of giving the Soviet Union information concerning the development of the atom bomb. They were tried and convicted of treason and executed after the Supreme Court denied their appeal. By separating the three branches of government, it becomes apparent that the drafters of the Constitution were concerned with the delicate balance of power that would exist among the three branches of government. The Constitution neatly lays out the various powers of each branch of government without any reference to which of the branches should be the lead player.